Hi guys, I'm Aman and welcome to the first video of my channel, Testing Reviews. This is my first tutorial video and I'm very excited to share this with you. Feel free to comment how did you like this video, and if you think that I did a great job here, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe the channel. We're coming up with videos every week. And so today I'm going to talk about Scrum and look into why is it useful and how it is done. Before we move forward, I wanted to share that Lambda Test is the sponsor of this video. Lambda Test have built an amazing cross-browser testing platform with over 2,000 browsers to test on. I have signed up with them with the freemium plan and loved the experience so far. I'm sure you guys will love it too. Please do visit their website. You can find the link in the description. Great. So let's start with the video. So today's video is about Scrum, and let's try to understand that the very basic question that what is Scrum? So Scrum is a subset of Agile, the most widely used framework for Agile development, which helps in delivering complex adaptive problems with a short span of time. Now, Scrum focuses on delivering the most valuable prospect first by prioritizing user stories. Ken Schaubert and Jeff Sutherland has invented Scrum. And if you ask me to define Scrum, I would say that Scrum is lightweight, simple to understand, and very difficult to master. Great. So let's first understand that why you need Scrum, and let me compare it to the conventional waterfall approach. So the biggest problem with the conventional waterfall approach, that in waterfall approach you proceed to the next stage only after perfecting the previous one. So this leads to the latency in the terms of product delivery. Now, the first major problem in conventional waterfall is the cognitive biases. So now people often hold on to their personal belief, even in the face of contrary circumstances. To put it simply, a tendency of false assumptions leading to rational thinking. Okay, so cognitive bias in waterfall approach were widely observed in two fronts. First one is a status quo bias due to loss aversion. Now guys, status quo bias tends to a phenomenon where we are resisting any change in our current state of affairs, assuming that it might lead to impediments in our work. Now, restricting yourself from any kind of change leads to the loss aversion. It is something like people's tendency where they prefer to not lose $2 than to find $2. Now, the second thing in cognitive bias is the planning fallacy. Now, according to this, people often tend to be naively optimistic when providing ETAs to a product delivery by assuming everything to run in an ideal manner. Now, there exists no perfect planning to any phase. Now, nobody can give you the assurance that this practical phase is 100% flawless. As human, we are all bound to commit mistakes, and what becomes problematic is when we realize a mistake of phase one just when we are about to reach the product delivery stage. Many times it happens that product owners wait for a couple of years to get their product available in the market by service providers, but due to the mistakes on either behalves, that project may get delayed for a couple more years, which is again a huge loss for them. Now, let's talk about how to overcome conventional problem using Scrum. So it's a 7-step process. Now, the first step is creating a product backlog. Now, product backlog, guys, comprises of all requirements that product must deliver from a user's perspective. We generate user stories for this. So user stories is basically an empathetic way of demonstrating users' expectation from a product. Now, user stories should always follow a set format, which is like I am a developer and I want a tool for cross-browser testing so that I can be sure about developed web pages compatibility through different browsers and devices. Okay. Now, Second thing is prioritizing user stories. So once you collected all the user stories, the second part is how to prioritize it. Now, considering multiple user stories will help you to establish a rough draft as to which requirements are most crucial from end user's point of view. So how I do it is I see which user stories has most recommendation, and then I start with it. The third thing is the product backlog. I'm sorry, the sprint backlog. So product backlog is segregated into release backlogs, which are further bifurcated into the sprint backlogs. Okay, so let's move to the step two, related time estimation. So after drafting your user stories and prioritization comes a point where you need to calculate products ETA. That is very important, guys. A roadmap to easily align products, investors, and visionaries in terms of product and growth. Now, according to Jeff Sutherland, the most famous inventor of Scrum, one should not try to be precise on hourly and daily basis while providing a time estimation, which is very important. Now, rather you should consider a task complexity in terms of clothing. Let's suppose it may be a small sprint, in a medium or a large, or you can go for a Fibonacci sequence that it might take 2 days or 3 days or 8 days. Okay. Also consider the appropriate team size. It is believed that a team beyond 9 people can't coordinate efficiently. Okay, this is the product growth. Okay, so let's go to the third step. The third step is sprint planning. Now, this is where you list down priorities under different sprints. Okay, a sprint could last from a couple of days to a couple of weeks. While planning a sprint, you need to keep in mind at what can you team achieve, who should be doing what in order to achieve the common goal. This should be the basic questions. Okay, let's move on to the step four, Scrum Storyboard. Now, you need a storyboard to monitor your daily scrums. That is very important, guys. So you need to see that what is the status, what is the progress on a daily basis. Now, you can start off with a whiteboard with a sticky notes on it, but then, as the complexity widens, things get messy. Fortunately, there are a lot of tools available in the market, which you can, go ahead and you can search over the internet. There are a lot of Scrum tools available in the market, which can help you here. Many of these tools are free of cost and very simple to use. There are a few which I can want to mention here are the storiesonboard.com. They provide a free trial. Then scrumbler.ca, they provide free of cost as well. And also, guys, there is a blog for 15 free tools for agile project management. And I've mentioned here, so all the links, you guys, you can find in the description, and you can use it. Okay, that's a pop-up. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay. Then let's move on to the step fifth. Now, in this step, we will count the daily stand on Scrum meeting. The meeting should always be on daily basis, and you should be handled in the starting of the shift. Earlier, if it's if your team has working on different time zones, if it's on Indian time zone, it could be in the morning. If it's working on different other time zone, it should be starting of the shift. During these meetings, every person from the team should report on what he did yesterday, what he will do today, and any impediments that he faced. And these kind of questions should be answered. And the Scrum Master is in the charge of managing that these daily scrums are routinely organized. Okay. Now, Jeff Sutherland also said that it's better that a project manager not become the Scrum Master of his project. The reason, guys, is when a former project manager steps into that role, there is a fair chance that everyone will fall back into their old patterns. The developers will expect him to solve all their problems, and he will feel obliged to do so. So a Scrum Master should be different from a project manager. Okay. Now, in the step fifth, we have a burn down chart, which is very important. So burn down chart, helps according to the Ken Schwaber, the manager's most important work is helping the people doing the work. Give them a goal and let them work. remove any impediments that get in their way, do anything that may make them more effective or productive. Then the organization can capitalize on the fruits of their work. So a manager needs to develop a burn down chart on daily basis to track the progress on the product development front. This chart should follow an 80-20 principle, guys. So you get 80% of people, 80% of the product value from the 20% of the time, the cost invested. So this graph here explains about a burn down chart of a Scrum process. Burn down chart is very helpful in pinpointing the approximation on the product's ETA. Okay, now this takes us to the sixth step, the demo. Now, somewhere between the middle of a sprint, you need to plan a demonstration for the product owner where you demonstrate everything that you have been able to accomplish so far and current sprint. He needs to be updated, guys. Now, this helps in erasing ambiguity in both the development end as well as the visionary end. So it creates a transparency and the trust on you as well. Uh, Based upon how well you're able to demonstrate, you either get an approval or rejection from the product board, and which both are acceptable in the Scrum process. Now, this goes to the step 7, the retrospective meeting. The final stage of any sprint consists a retrospective meeting. So this meeting is all about what went well, what went wrong, and how they can improve their efficiency. And this is a very important questions, and which you need to be asking in the end of the sprint. Okay. Now, I wanted to share why Scrum at the end. So this is a Scrum cycle here: the sprint planning, the sprint, and sprint review, then retrospective. So this is the product backlog, and in this process you will get sprint backlog. This is a Scrum meeting. So this is how a Scrum process looks like. Great. So why Scrum? Okay, so Scrum, it helps to cope up with customers' ever-changing demands by erasing ambiguity. It makes sure that you deliver the most important aspects of a product from a user's perspective. You can gradually improvise your product basis on the feedback from the end users, and smoothly deliver of complex objectives by breaking it into granular levels. Time efficient. A product which used to take a couple of years before stepping into market can now be launched in a couple of months. Yes, guys. And thanks to the Scrum methodology. Daily assessment from a managerial point of view. Right. So this is all about the Scrum process. And, guys, I'm be very happy to answer any questions you guys have. Please, please, please leave us some comments. Anything you like in the video, or you didn't like in this video, any questions related to Scrum or the Scrum methodology about the Agile, we will love to answer it. Please subscribe to the channel and do visit Land the Test. The links are in the description, guys. Thank you. Have a great day.